Welcome back, everybody, to Who Really Won the Wrestling War. We're coming off of a tie again in August, 16 to 16 WWF. After WCW won four in a row, WWF finally got some more points. Van Guy, how's it going?
It's going well, man. Yeah, WWF looking to stage a little bit of a comeback. I think going into this month, we knew it might be difficult because of the pay-per-view WCW was going to have against WWF. But I do think we saw a lot of encouraging things from WWF this month that are really encouraging for the future. So I'm kind of curious to see how you scored this and if you kind of noticed the same things I did.
Yeah, I do think WWF is maybe hopefully getting back on track to where they started this year, and then they kind of all fell apart really quickly around WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So I guess we can begin with the WWF. I guess I'll say before we start with this move to Peacock, it's been a little rough with the WWE network, but we're working through it the best we can. WWF gets the short end of the stick right now, but it is what it is.
And what we did have to work with wasn't too bad. I mean, it really wasn't. I thought, given the shows that encapsulated this time period for them this month, I think we had a fair bit to work with, and at least, got a pretty good gist of what they were doing. Because, like I even just said, I saw some very optimistic things from WWF this month.
I agree with you on that. I guess we could start with the big news, Fan Guy, that I saw in the WWF. Ronnie Garvin got reinstated as a wrestler, Fan Guy.
Cheers! I've never seen more. I don't understand their fascination with this guy. He's not super good in the ring. He's not super good on the mic. And yet they seem to be devoting a fair bit of airtime for him. So I don't care. Like
Yeah, me either.
he doesn't even move the needle for me. But hey, they're doing something. At least at this,
Yeah.
they're doing things.
I guess that at least he's had a storyline. I guess that's one thing. It's just like he must be like their hand that they can rely on or something because they do give him a lot of TV time.
Yeah, just like Old Faithful. Like just
Yeah,
they just know what they're gonna. You know what you're gonna get out of him, and even though it's not that great, I guess it is. It is what it is. So I mean, I'm glad to see them do something. That's going to be the theme of the month for me with WWF. At least now
yeah.
they're trying to make feuds and they're trying to tell stories, and they're not just like floating helplessly at sea.
I agree. I do think their feuds have been coming together a lot better than they have been lately. One of those is one that we've kind of been missing on the prime time, so we got to see this month, which is like more of Dusty Rhodes and the Big Boss Man and that whole angle that they're going with.
Absolutely. We saw a little bit of it last month, and they are. What do you know? They're actually keeping to a story. They're like keeping it going for longer than two programs.
Yeah.
And that's refreshing to see. It gives time for the performers to tell the story and yeah, tell us a story and give us a feud that we want to see. And even though people may not want to see this feud, it's a feud. They have legitimate back and forths, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it too. I think it's because Dusty's just entertaining, so it's hard not to enjoy it.
He is, man. He is Americana at its finest. That is it.
Now the other big return, I guess, Jake Roberts comes back from an injury to continue to feud with DiBiase as well. So this is a feud that's been going on a few months now.
Yeah, and it's weird because actually, apparently, I guess they were trying to set up maybe an Andre feud with him early on this particular month too, and I guess maybe mid-month they just changed it back to DiBiase because they didn't really know if they wanted to go with Andre or DiBiase. This feud, I mean, I love both these guys. These are two, for me, super legends. But we didn't see as much of this feud as we did with a few of the other feuds on WWF. So I mean, they're definitely working that. And again, this is kind of what I was implying when I said, "Yo, we're getting stuff. They're giving us feuds. They're giving us stories." And I'm curious to see where this one goes. Although I don't think we got as much of it as we did the other ones.
No, we didn't. But I will say, like, just Jake Roberts promos alone is just like so engaging, and so he just tells a story in his words that it's hard to not like. Earlier in the year when he was feuding with Andre Moore, I felt like that was a great feud.
Yeah, Jake was the original kind of badass. Like he was that original sort of stone cold kind of
Yeah.
just I don't kind of what he's even doing with Lance Archer or trying to do in AEW right now. Just this tough, rough guy who doesn't really give a damn about anything, and he does it well, man. That's there's a reason that Jake's considered one of the all-time greats, and his promo work's definitely part of it.
Yeah, I've just enjoyed him a lot this month. He was kind of the highlight for me, honestly, in the WWF, just his promos alone, honestly.
Yeah. In a month where there wasn't a ton to work with, he was a bright spot for me as well. Yeah. I mean, I have nothing. He's on point. His promos are on point. We didn't get too much ring work from him, but we didn't see his squash matches. So,
Yeah.
but no, Jake's good, and he will on more on what you said. He will be able to feud with anybody. He's got that kind of character where he has a wide range of options of people to feud with.
Now, another feud that's continuing from SummerSlam, Piper and Rick Rude with Heenan in there still. Any thoughts on this feud?
This is the feud that seemed to dominate the WWF for me this month. And it might have just been the biases of, the source material where we got it from.
Yeah.
But there seemed to be a lot of this. This seemed to be WWF's biggest, for me, like their big feud. And where a lot of their airtime's going. I hate Roddy Piper so much. It's tough for me to like this feud. He just annoys me. Like nobody else.
Is it because he can be obnoxious? Is that why he annoys you?
Yeah, but it's not obnoxious like I think he's going for. Like he's going for this like obnoxiously funny, but I don't really find anything he does very funny. It's just sort of obnoxious. So yeah, it is just that obnoxious. And I love Rick Rude, so it's my personal biases there. I thought these guys did pretty good work with their feud this month as well. I loved the Rude fails to ravish the girl.
Yeah.
He kisses her twice. She just kind of shrugs and walks away. And then same girl comes out. Piper kisses her. She, gets ravished, lays on the ground. This is the kind of stuff that makes me smile, makes me feel good about watching wrestling. It's good little happy moments. And the WWF was able to produce a few of those this month.
Yeah, well stated. That was definitely one of the highlights as well, was that whole Rick Rude and that girl.
Rude fails to ravish.
Let's see. I think we didn't get to see a lot of it, but there seems to be an Andre and Warrior thing happening with him.
That's what I think they pivoted to from the Jake thing at the beginning of the month. And they're like, okay, we're gonna go Warrior, Giant. We got very little of this, but it does look to be the direction they're going, which again just further exemplifies the fact that they are going for feuds now. They are setting up storylines, and this is one that I can't wait to see. I don't even remember these two guys feuding, so yeah, this will be great. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, it does feel like they just finally have a lot of directions, I guess, on their road to Survivor Series.
Yes.
So then we get Macho Man and Duggan, where Macho Man defeats Duggan to become the new king of the WWF. Macho King, how you feel about that?
Macho King has arrived, baby. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Macho King, he's there now. I wish that we would have gotten to see this match. I actually had to look up when it happened, and because there's no footage of it online. So I just had to kind of there's footage of Duggan Savage match that happens later, but not of that one. And so it was on a small show that it happened. I love it. I love the Macho King, and I didn't like King Duggan. I don't think that gimmick works with, I mean, his oafiness. I mean, I guess that's sort of the beauty of King Duggan is that he's just this oaf.
Yeah.
I think Savage needed it more. He needed the momentum more. Duggan's just the perennial mid carder. Savage is one of your main card guys. Give him some main card status, and have all the heels in the ring coronating. Savage. Love it, man. I like him and Sherry's work together as heels. They're just awesome.
Yeah, this is a good thing coming off of that whole Macho Man and Zeus stuff that I was not enjoying. It was so over the top cartoonish that it did not work for me. And while this is still cartoonish, I guess it was just better. Hopefully, a better direction for Macho Man and Sherry, for that matter. And I did love the whole huge coronation. That was a good touch.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, all the heels are in the ring to coronate the new king, and he really is the top heel right now. So I think it just suits. It just suits him. Yeah, I love it. I love everything. Macho Man just rules, and the fact that his brother gave his inauguration as the genius. Um, for something for me, that made me smile. Like this is his real life brother,
Yeah.
just given this. He doesn't read poems very well. I remember the genius being so eloquent. Now when I hear him read his stuff, I'm like, bro, I don't know if it's supposed to rhyme or if it's supposed to have some sort of cadence to it. But man, Lanny Poffo, you are not good at reading poetry, my man.
Yeah. He tries to have a cadence, it just doesn't always work out.
Yeah, I get lost, bro. I get lost.
Let's see. The only other note I have for this month, I got that the Brainbusters are basically trying to duck Demolition. They don't want to put the tag titles on the line because it took them forever to get a shot themselves. So why should they put the titles on the line against Demolition?
I like that angle. Again, this even goes further to telling stories. They're telling stories again. Even if it's just stuff like this, like, oh, you don't deserve a shot. You get in the back of the line. We had to work for it. Even that is a story. And so I like a lot of what the WWF is setting up for the future right now, even though I don't think this was a month where I don't think we got really deliverance on any of it. None of it came to a head. This was a huge build-up month for them, and I expect big things in the next few months while all these feuds culminate.
I agree. It does make me look forward to Survivor Series at least because it seems like they're trying to put on something good. Hopefully,
Yeah, I mean, we're probably gonna get the Piper Rude match, the Dusty Bossman match, the Snake DiBiase match, maybe even the Warrior Giant match. You get all four of those on the same card, it's gonna be a tough slate for WCW that month, like just straight up.
was there anything else that I missed that you saw?
I maybe setting up a bad news Hogan feud as to give Hogan a temporary
Uh,
uh, somebody to squash for the next
Again,
month while all these other things are going on. So I also think they were setting up a bad news Brown Hogan match. He had a promo on Hogan. And the only other thing I had was they turned Coco Beware into some sort of James Brown like singer. I didn't
I didn't know they were going for it.
I didn't know. I couldn't tell if they were trying to do some gospel thing or some James Brown thing. And I'm just like, WWF, like, come on, man. Yeah, that was a WTF moment for me. Then I just kind of rolled my eyes and was just like, what are they doing? Um, but overall, pretty good month for WWF. I thought it was an improvement from last month by a good bit.
One more thing to Hogan. I think it just how bad this main event scene is with Hogan on top because he beat everybody already. So it's like, what can you do? That's why he's not in anything because they've done everything.
Yeah, no, it's true. And then that's kind of why I think that WWF, like, I think that's why they're doing the Bad News Brown thing. That might have even been why they had him have a match with him like a few months ago, randomly out of nowhere when he was all undefeated and stuff, and just killed all his momentum by having him lose to Hogan. Um, Yeah, I think I think this is just a placeholder thing for Hogan because all the other big names are booked. They might be trying to set up something else with, well, I know the Warrior thing, but that's not for a while. So maybe he's going to have another Savage feud. I don't know, but I don't see the bad news thing going for longer than a month if that.
No, neither. Well, what did you grade the WWF this month?
So I bumped them up a little bit, even though they didn't have the marquee matches. I just love the direction they were taking so much that I put them up at a 7.2. Just because I just like I just really like their creative direction and the fact that they're getting right back to telling stories, and I appreciate that. So I felt it was only fair to move them up, even though we didn't necessarily get the high quality matches of anything.
Yeah, that's fair. I did move them down, but only a couple of decimals. I gave them a 6.7, which can't do quick math, so let me get my handy dandy calculator.
0.95?
You are correct. Mathematician over here. 6.95. We'll see. Might be a close one this month. Well, let's get on to WCW. I don't know if you saw anything on this first show you want to talk about. I didn't, but
just the Robin Green joins the Steiners and Missy Hyatt. That was the only thing of.
Yeah, so we missed this somewhere along the way where, that whole nerdy girl with the Rick Steiner. I guess Missy Hyatt gave her this makeover, and now she's Robin Green. So that's what we're going into this month with, which is one of the main storylines of WCW this month.
Yeah, one of the biggest ones for sure. I mean, as we get on with, we'll tell what happened, but it entertained me enough. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was anything, crazy. We got to see Flair officially 100% super face with a promo with Sting on this episode, which Tommy Rich gave an awful promo. And the other thing, just something I thought was funny. While it was cutting to a preview, like they show that they're going to commercial, but they don't show the commercials. And it said, coming up, Dan Spivey takes on somebody. And bro, I remember thinking as I'm watching this, like, this dude might be about to put on a 5-star match with the Russian assassin or whoever. I don't even care. I'm just going to fast forward till I don't see Dan Spivey. And that's what I did. I just looked in the little preview thing at the bottom and I went to ahead of Dan. It could have been a 5-star match. I don't know.
I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I don't blame you for fast forwarding Dan Spivey. I know you just dislike Dan Spivey.
Lord.
Is he your least favorite wrestler in any company right now?
At this point, him and Piper are pretty close.
Yeah, I forgot you hate Piper too.
Yeah, I don't like Piper. And it's funny because actually I saw some stuff on Spivey where I thought he was really green for some reason. Like I thought he was real new to the industry when WCW brought him in, but he had been wrestling for a while. And this dude still botches power bombs on the reg. He botches moves on the reg. He still has no mic skills. So like whenever I found out he'd actually been doing this for like at least 5, 6, 7 years, I was really disappointed because like I thought he was super rookie, like, and that's why he was so bad. But knowing he's like a veteran-ish, that really makes me like him even less.
Yeah, maybe he'll get better over the years. I doubt it. I mean, I remember him having a character in like the mid '90s when everything else in the WWF sucked. So if we ever get there, maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe he'll be better as a character than just this crap that he's doing now.
Yeah, he's just outclassed with his tag team partner. Like, yeah. He's just so outclassed by his tag team partner. But yeah, not much else. No, nothing on this. I mean, nothing other than the Robin thing.
Well, we had Clash of Champions 8 Fall Brawl here this month. And we start with the payoff, finally, of the Road Warriors versus the Samoan SWAT team.
Super botched ending.
Yeah, it was a very botched ending. It was great until the ending. I enjoyed it until the ending, yes.
Yeah. super obviously botched ending. Like this is a Milli Vanilli moment. Girl, you know it's what. Good match though.
It
You know,
was.
good match. That's actually what I have. Oof ending to an otherwise okay match.
Yeah, there were definitely some sloppy points, but the crowd was into it. They built to this decently enough because this feud's been going on for several months. So I'm glad they finally at least got this payoff of a match. Road Warriors get the win, even though the ending was botched.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much says it all to me. Like a good match. It was a good match. Just a not a good finish to the match. And
Yeah, because basically they hit the Samoan SWAT team with Polly's phone, which the referee blatantly sees.
I mean, he's looking. There's no like his body. Everything is just turned looking
Yes.
face forward at it happening. So, if they were trying to do the whole behind the ref's back thing, no. this was right in front of his face.
Yeah, and then just to further the botch, I don't remember which one it was. The other wrestler on the Samoan SWAT team is standing up and could save the breakup, the pin, but just falls over instead.
Yeah, and to further the botch even more, after he hits the guy with the phone, he then runs like outside the ring. He starts to go outside the ring to like ditch the phone or pitch the phone or something, but then realizes his partner's still in the ring being held by the other guy. Turns mid-direction, like just does it turns around, and then they start to go into the finish of the match. It was just a really sloppy ending.
Yeah, they really did not communicate that ending well, which is unfortunate because it was a good match before then.
Yeah,
it might even have made my top 3, to be honest.
And then I agree. I honestly haven't looked there. I think it might have made my top 3 even despite that, because we didn't have a lot to work with this month. And then SST leaves Paulie at the end of this match. They decide they are ready to part ways with the Dangerous One.
Well, up next we have the Z-Man, Tom Zink. And move over Russian assassins because the Cuban assassin is here.
Well said. Well said. I mean, yeah, the Z-Man, he's arrived. What can you say about the Z-Man?
Not a whole lot. I mean, I like his theme music, but other than that, I don't have anything else to say.
He just looks like a bodybuilder, and even at that point in time, there were even less of those than there are today. Like, how McMahon is. I mean, and this is WCW, but you know how McMahon and some of these guys are about the really shredded guys. And so I think the Z-Man was just some guy they saw at a gym or something. And we're like, this dude's shredded. Let's get him in the ring. But he goes on to have an okay, mid-card style career and actually has some decent moments in the future. So,
yeah, I remember his name, Tom Zink. I don't remember this whole Z-Man gimmick, but guess we'll see if it goes anywhere.
I'm not crazy about a guy who looks like that using a sleeper as his finisher either.
True.
I'm just not. Like, if you're built like that and you're jacked like that, use that power. Have a power finisher. Don't.
I agree. Well, Sid Vicious squashes Ranger Ross next, basically.
Don't forget about Ric Flair Day in between.
Oh, yes, Ric Flair Day.
the South Carolina government has named it Ric Flair Day. Yeah. Sid, and it was fast. Sid beat him fast.
Yeah.
Like super, like Ranger Ross is officially
the jobber
status with this loss. Yeah.
We then get a segment, Missy Hyatt and Robin Green on a shopping spree.
Yeah, we did.
And they're using the Steiner Brothers credit card. That was the big thing.
Yeah, and again, even though I'm not super crazy about this whole thing, it was something. They're telling a story. They're making Missy Hyatt seem good and noble and down to earth, and they're making Robin seem very extra. Yeah. So, I mean, they told the story with that segment. It might have been a little long, but it was what it was.
We'll get to it more, but the one thing I do want to say about this story, it's been going on since like early in the year when this whole nerdy girl was rooting for Rick Steiner in the audience. So
Mhm.
I guess it's long-term storytelling, even though if there's holes in it, but there's long-term storytelling.
Yeah, no, there is. Apparently, they the only thing I can think of is they have a lot of faith in Robin Green, who's about to become another character.
Yeah.
But they just have a lot of faith in her, like a lot, because they're giving her just a whole thing.
While the Steiners were up next for the tag titles against the Freebirds, where Scott gets tripped in this match. He blames Robin. Rick blames Missy Hyatt. The match was pretty good, but
I enjoyed this match a lot. I even enjoyed the finish. I was okay with this match front to back. It furthered the storytelling.
Exactly.
It was a good match up until that point. We had a mystery finish where we still don't know what happened. I was okay with this top to bottom. Actually, this match I was super okay with top to bottom.
Could have said it better. It definitely furthered the storyline. It gets the Freebirds get to keep their titles. So I guess everybody kind of came out of this with something, which is what I always like in matches.
Yeah, and it kept the Steiners looking strong because they had a ton of momentum coming into this match.
Yes.
And it kept them looking strong with the kind of wonky finish. So just super good, just good job. This match was well done. No super botches on the finish. So
we then get Norma the Lunatic versus Brian Pillman. Pillman beats the Lunatic twice now.
Oh, Norman, where breaking my heart, Norman. I was expecting so much from Norman.
Yeah, me too. I feel you.
But no, I mean, they're trying to give Pillman guys to build his street cred up.
And they're doing a lot for Pillman.
Yeah, they are. They are building his street cred up. And they got to give him guys that aren't just, the Cuban assassin, as you would say, or the Russian assassin.
That's for sure.
They're giving him guys that are a little bit closer to mid card to beat to get his stock up, and it's working. And I think that was the point of this match.
I agree. I mean, it did what they needed it to do. I do wish Norman had a bigger presence, to be honest. I think he could have actually worked even if he's campy.
Yeah. I think they're giving up on it way too soon.
Yeah, I agree. Then we had Steve Williams versus Mike Rotunda.
Rotunda controlled this entire match. I actually remember thinking that as I was watching this match. I was like, man, Rotunda has literally controlled 95% of this match, which kind of made me know that he wasn't going to win it. As weird, as weird as that sounds, because I didn't know who was going to win this match whenever they came out to the ring. But as soon as I just saw Rotunda dominating pretty much front to back, I was like, something's going to happen. And then the ref kicks his hand and he gets pinned. I wasn't. I don't really like Steve Williams. I feel like he's like a knockoff Hacksaw Jim Duggan, or the other way around. I feel like their move sets are really similar. Their skill sets are really similar. Their mic skills are Hacksaw's probably better because at least he embraces, him when he talks, like how he is. So I didn't really care about this match, and I didn't really like the finish either.
I agree. This was really the one match on the card that I was just kind of okay.
Yeah. This for me was I'm actually looking back. I mean, if we're not counting Sid Vicious versus Ranger, but even that served a better purpose. It showed you how dominant Sid Vicious is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll even take the Z-Man debut over this match, quite frankly.
Me too, honestly.
I just did not enjoy this match. It didn't make sense for me.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't work. And what you say about Steve Williams is true. I just haven't really connected with him either yet.
He's like a Wish version of Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He's like the Wish.com version of Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
This next match, however, surprised the hell out of me. I'm not gonna lie, because the feud was so blah, and I'm like, Tommy Rich, I don't really know him. He's from the olden days, like the 70s and early 80s. I don't know enough about him, and it's Lex Luger. I like this match a lot, honestly. Lex Luger versus Tommy Rich. This was a great match.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback that. This is my favorite match on the card. I'll just say that this was my favorite match on the card, which did surprise the hell. I mean, everything you just said, it surprised the hell out of me because I haven't really big fan of even what Tommy Rich has done in his return so far.
Either.
In the squash matches I've seen, in his promo work, I haven't really liked anything I've seen. So the fact that him and Luger come out, Luger's not traditionally the most dynamic worker front to back in a match. They put on a freaking hell of a match, man. This was a good match.
Yeah, it was definitely solid. I don't know if it's because my expectations were so low, but I was like, God damn, this was a great match for, especially Luger doesn't get a lot of credit in his matches, and most of that's deserved. And I didn't really know anything about Tommy Rich, but yeah, Tommy Rich can go when he needs to go, I guess.
Yeah, he still got it. He still got it in the gas tank for sure. Because these guys actually put on a good match. We got to see Luger with the robe. I don't know if this was the first time I remember seeing Luger with the Ric Flair style robe.
Yeah.
He's coming out very, which he's trying to build on his own character. The United States Championships, the biggest belt in the sport right now. I think he's a little bit too much of the copycatting with the robe and stuff. I thought it was a little over the top, but I like him furthering developing his character. And I really did enjoy this match. Both guys, it was a good back and forth affair. Both guys got in a fair bit of offense. Both guys sold well.
Yeah, props to both of them for this match. It told a good story too. It's kind of like Tommy Rich was showing that he does still got it. And Luger had to basically cheat to win at the end. So
yeah, I mean the finish was great. Everything about it was a good match.
now Funk was supposed to be in the main event, but he was injured. That was the big story. So we get, instead of him, it's Flair and Sting versus Dick Slater and Muta, which kind of killed it for me.
It really did, dude. It took all the shine off of this match. It took all the shine off of it. Like 100% of the shine was taken off of this match whenever that happened, because at that point for me it was a foregone conclusion how this match was going to go. And although
and they
no,
sorry, I was just gonna say WCW seems to do this a lot, where they just change the main event,
and it's the main event. It's not like you're changing a mid card match, Yeah, I mean, I didn't see this necessarily this finish happening to this match. I really thought it was just gonna be for sure Slater was gonna take the pin from either Stinger or Flair. So it was cool that they got Funk involved still, after that, but it ruined it. I'm with you. I just had a bad taste in my mouth going into this match. So I think I might have been a little harder on this match than maybe I should be.
Yeah, probably me too. Like it was like a chaotic match. Like it was honestly ECW-esque at times, but like it just didn't. I guess I just wasn't into it.
Yeah, I'm with you. This match, for having three of the guys that I have been really high on the past few months, being Muta, Sting, and Flair, to have three of them in a match, and the match doesn't even make my top 3 matches of the month, says a lot about how ultimately my opinion of the match, which was that it just didn't. This is one of them where I don't know if it's like you said, my expectations or my lowered, like I was just so not happy with it that it just didn't.
But I think it has to count for something. If you're gonna change the main event, like it's gonna hurt the entertainment value of the main event.
Especially when you're changing Terry Funk with Dick Slater. Like, come on.
Yeah, it just didn't work for me. But I did kind of like the ending with Funk coming out and basically trying to smother Ric Flair with a bag.
He straight suffocated that man with a plastic bag. Furthering Terry Funk's sort of, identity.
Yes, a crazed old man.
Overall, the show was good, though.
It was.
Minus, and even the Rotunda Williams match that we were kind of hard on, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't.
It just,
I guess it was just
overall, it was a good card. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I agree. This was a good clash. A lot of storytelling went into it. Some surprises with that Luger match. So after this event, Terry Funk is suspended indefinitely by Jim Herd. And the other main thing on this show was your boys, fan guy. The dynamic dudes, they don't get a manager. Cornette can't manage them because he's managing the Express, but he's going to be their advisor.
Yeah, and I like this, and I like where they're going with this, because as you see the next few shows unfold, you can see that the dudes are actually going to get the next title shot. And if they happen to win, then that sets a very much Midnight Express versus Dynamic Dudes thing. And, and then Cornette will be kind of in the middle of that.
Which would be
So,
good.
yeah, I really hope that's a direction they take it. I don't know if it is. I haven't cheated and looked ahead. So I'm not sure if that's the direction they take it, but I really hope that they let the dudes win the titles and then have them feud with the Midnight Express. That's what I really hope happens.
Yeah, I think that should be the direction they do go in, as much as I do like the Freebirds.
And it's Shane Douglas. Shane Douglas is like, I feel like Shane Douglas is a marquee wrestler in the future. So watching him as one of the dynamic dudes is just kind of
It's pretty funny.
It's funny. Yeah, it's kind of funny. And this is after they lost to the New Zealand militia. And I was like, oh no, the dudes are jobbers. And then like just Cornette in for the save. Like, I'm not gonna let you boys go down like this. So yeah.
It is also kind of funny though, if you think about Shane Douglas's ECW character, which is kind of like this disgruntled guy. You kind of see why with the dynamic.
Yeah, when you see his career arc, it's so true. That's okay. Yes, well said. It's perfect.
Let's see what else on this September 16th show. I did not like how Tommy Rich and Dick Murdoch went to a draw after Tommy Rich had that great match with Luger.
That was a WTF moment for me. Like, do they have that much faith in old ass Dick Murdoch at this point? Now, granted, it's old ass Tommy Rich too, but Tommy Rich, as you just said, just put on the arguably the best match of the pay-per-view with Luger, who's not traditionally the best worker. So how does this end in a draw? Who booked this? Come on, Eddie Gilbert. Like who booked this?
Yeah, did not like that either. Let's see. The other main stuff, we got the whole Eddie Gilbert and Brian Pillman stuff, because Gilbert thinks Pillman didn't beat him clean, which would lead to their match of the next show. And then more of the Robin stuff. She's not happy that she's getting the blame for them losing the match, and Rick Steiner's thinking about proposing to her.
Well played, dog-faced gremlin. Yeah, I mean, at least they're furthering that storyline. They're really building Pillman up. They're really, really building Pillman up at this point, like on a straight rocket ship to the moon. The way they're booking him. So, and then Luger comes out and says, the U.S. title is the most prestigious title, furthering Luger's character. This was an okay show for just a random show.
Well, the next show, September 23rd, this was when the whole Robin incident happened.
Yeah.
Because Rick was going to propose to her, so they brought out a camera crew. Scott's waiting for Rick, but Robin shows up in a limousine. Robin has him get in the limousine, and then the tag team of some sort beats up Scott Steiner.
Yeah. It felt like weird to have the payoff on just a random WCW on the 23rd, because as you said, it feels like they'd been building up this angle for so long that I really was kind of expecting a bigger payoff than this. I mean, yeah, it's cool. They beat up Scott Steiner, it's a payoff, but it's not what I feel like they could have done with the amount of resources and time that they've put into this feud so far.
Yeah, it worked for me, but it was also just kind of awkward, I guess, maybe. Just the way it all went down.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It did what it served its purpose. It wasn't that it didn't work for me. It was just it didn't reach the potential that they could have for the elements that they had ready to make some sort of explosion.
Anything else on the show other than Pillman beating Gilbert clean this time?
Yeah. No, the dudes get their first win with Cornette. And then Flair gives a pretty good promo to close the show. But no, I mean, we expect good Flair promos. So I would say nothing out of the ordinary.
And then the last show of the month is when we got Robin declaring that she is woman. She's going to conquer the wrestling world.
I'm not sure what they're doing with this because I mean, were they going for like some intergender thing here?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
like I just don't
the
get.
promo wasn't the best. It
Nope.
wasn't a great promo by a woman, to be honest. Even though she has been doing a mostly good job, this promo wasn't really it. And she kind of said she picked the Steiners to take advantage of Rick's heart, which worked. But like, yeah, I don't really know exactly what they're going for with her character.
That's the problem for me is that there's no direction. Like, where does she go from here? The way that promo came off, I couldn't tell if she wanted to wrestle against guys or if she just wanted to start like forming a stable of guys. But then
that's what it seems like.
What kind of stable are you going to have whenever you just tell everyone you're turning on them and kind of like, I don't understand her character at all. I just don't.
Yeah, it's just been confusing. The whole turn in the storyline has been confusing.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it did take place over the last several months, but there's holes in the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, anything else on this show? I mean, Scott and Rick basically cussed out Robin, but...
And the only other thing, actually, I'd already mentioned, which is Cornette announces that the Dynamic Dudes have the next title shot because the Midnight Express were turned down because they just had one or been too recent or something. But I just feel like the fact that they're mentioning that together and he announces it while he's standing by the Midnight Express, if they don't utilize this, I'm going to dock them a point or two that month just for not utilizing the possibilities there.
I agree. The setup is there for sure.
You know, it's just whether they have faith in the Dynamic Dudes to hold the titles even for a short while, because it is a big ask.
Any other thoughts on WCW?
No, I mean, I guess just more of what I said about WWF. It seems good. They're doing good with their storytelling. I actually find myself more drawn to the WWF feuds currently. So, but they're at least doing stuff. They're not letting things get too stale. Though I do think they're putting too much faith in some of the really older wrestlers more than they should.
Yeah. For me, I think the WCW has more of a variety still right now than the WWF does. So I do feel like there's a little bit of something for everyone right now from WCW.
Yeah, there is.
I did go up on WCW this month. I gave it a 7.5.
I'm right behind you at a 7.4.
That gives it a 7.4 or 5, which will beat the WWF.
Yeah, I gave them a significant bump from last month because last month WCW was terrible, and they kind of righted the ship. It is always easier when you have a pay-per-view, but I actually think they have a pay-per-view the following month as well.
They do.
In Halloween Havoc, I think.
And with this Peacock fiasco, I don't know. Well, we'll have to talk about it off air.
Yeah.
What we're going to do about Saturday night's main event. Well, WCW gets to 20 points, takes the lead.
Close month.
This is one of the closest months in a while.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, we will do our top threes. We'll start with tag teams. All of these were tough for me, I'm not going to lie. Some of these might be a little random. Number 3, I put the Freebirds for tag teams.
I have the Dynamic Dudes.
And they didn't quite make my top 3, even though they probably should.
They got a title shot coming up. I'm going to give it to them, even though they lost to the New Zealand Militia.
Despite the Steiners kind of getting duped by Robin, I put that at number 2.
I have the Freebirds at number 2.
I put the Road Warriors at number 1 just because they finally won the feud against the Samoan SWAT team.
My number 1 was the Steiners. Despite getting duped, as you put it, they got a ton of airtime. Both Rick and Scott were having singles matches. They were on pretty much every show as either a tag team or individuals, and I think they won every match that Scott wasn't tripped in. So I just feel like they're giving the Steiners a ton of momentum right now.
It's true, though. I agree. They definitely seem to be the marquee team in WCW right now.
Despite not being the champs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where, and the whole Robin woman feud angle, it was just, they got a ton of airtime.
We'll go to matches next. Despite the botch ending, I put the Road Warriors and the Samoan SWAT team at number 3.
I concurred. That was my number 3 as well. Because the match was just really good up till then. And I mean, it was a terrible botch ending. Had it not been, it may have been number 2 for me.
It might have even been number 1 for me if it didn't have that botched ending. Because I just felt the fire was in that match. So, but
yeah, I'm with you.
They fucked up.
Yep.
Number 2, Freebirds and Steiners.
Man, we aligned on matches this month. I already know. That is also my number 2. I actually, as you just said, I think I enjoyed the LOD SST match more, but the ending lost it for me. And the Steiner Freebird had the exact opposite thing. I enjoyed the match. It was a good match, but the ending actually worked. And so I had to give it the nod over that other match.
Yeah, I felt the exact same way. And number 1, the surprising match, Tommy Rich and Lex Luger.
You had told me Tommy Rich was going to make my list for any category. Last month I would have been like, no, it's not going to happen.
I agree.
But yeah, they put on a great match, man. They put on a great match.
They did. It was excellent. I enjoyed it a lot. Well, my feuds were tough, but number 3, I put this whole Steiners and woman and whatever tag team she's cooking up.
I have Boss Man and Dusty. I like Dusty.
Yeah, that barely missed my list, but I put even though it wasn't a lot, I felt very strongly about Jake Roberts this month, so I put Roberts and DiBiase at number 2.
That's who I have at number 2 as well. Yeah, I just agree. We didn't get a ton of it, but it was done well. And I think everyone's setting up feuds right now, but none of them are in full swing except for the one we probably both have at number 1. None of these other feuds are just in full enough swing to where I feel like there were a lot of middling options for feuds this month. Like a lot of just kind of half-ass feuds you could go with that I think they're building to be big feuds, but right now they're just not. So even though we didn't get a lot from Snake and Ted, the promo work was enough to give them the nod over all the other feuds that are at the same level.
It was for me as well. I thought they both cut good promos, even though Roberts was the one that was really drawing me in.
Yeah, for sure.
My number 1, despite it kind of getting fucked up by the Clash, was Flair and Funk. I enjoyed Funk's character and the whole trying to kill him with the paper bag, the plastic bag thing. It was good enough for me to give them number 1.
I'm going American Beauty on your ass. I went with Piper Rude. It just dominated the airwaves on WWF, and even though I cannot stand Piper and I want to fast forward almost everything he's in, which was like half of WWF's program this month, the sheer amount of airtime that it got, I couldn't not put it there.
Yeah, I mean, it probably should be my top 3, I guess. And I actually like Piper, but for some reason, I guess, I don't know. It's not my favorite feud right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really building anything. They're going to have a match and it's going to be done.
Yeah.
So I agree. There's no long-term potential there.
Lastly, top 3 superstars of September. My number 3, Brian Pillman, he's getting this hell of a push, so he deserves it.
He's my number 3 as well for the exact same reason.
I put the Macho King at number 2.
Oh my God, how are we? We're in sync again.
Are we?
We are. I felt obliged to put a WWF star on this list, and that might have been why I have him there, because I realistically thought about putting Pillman second and Macho third.
I agree.
But Macho's just the whole coronation, the whole presence he has right now, and it just seems like with Hogan feuding with Bad News kind of fading into the background, that Macho Man's the show right now on the WWF side. So I hope we get to see more of him.
Yeah, I hope so too, and I hope it's less cartoony than him and Zeus.
I think we'll have the same number 1. I
don't think we do, but who's your number 1?
I have Lex Luger. He turned in the best match of the month for me. His promos are pretty good for Luger. Like his whole the US title is better than the world title. I just really like what I've seen from Luger, like a lot.
Yeah, that's a good choice. He was almost on my top 3 as well. It was between him and Pillman, but I went with Pillman. My number 1, I've just loved him a lot this month. It was Jake Roberts. His promos alone, it was strong enough for me.
Yeah,
that was just who I enjoyed most watching this.
I dig it. That's what it's about. I dig it. I dig it. It's the moments that make you feel something.
Yeah,
exactly. That's why we watch wrestling. That's why we watch it. It's it's to see the stories, to feel the stories, to experience them. And if whatever gets you like that is that.
Yep.
That's the priceless stuff.
Well, that is another month in the books, Fan Guy. Any final thoughts on September?
Just more of the same. I just will say I like the direction both companies are going right now. I think that this race, I think this was the closest month. I don't know if the scores by score wise it was the closest month.
I could look.
I actually think this, for me, this was the hardest month for me to determine which program was better. And I expect more of that in the near future, actually, because it just seems like both companies, well, the WWF's pulled their head out their ass and is actually letting feuds happen and utilizing the talent they have. And that WCW is continuing to do what they had been doing, which is, telling stories, letting their guys shine. So I'm really excited about the next few months to see if both companies can keep up the momentum that I feel like they started building with this month.
I hope they can. I looked it up, and it is by far our closest month score-wise, only around 0.5 difference. Most months are a full point or more difference.
Yeah. Like, this was definitely for me the toughest one to call. Because the WWF, despite not having a lot of matches this month, they have something going.
I agree. And we took some time off in between the last podcast and this podcast. And I was actually missing it a little bit, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Whenever I saw the thing this week, it was like, yeah, all right, I'm ready. Let's go. Watched it that next day as much as I could.
All right. Well, WCW back in the lead. Could be on pace to win the month, especially because they have a pay-per-view this next month. WWF has a Saturday night's main event. I don't know how much of that we're going to get to watch. So, yeah.
I'm hoping they get their act together with being able to watch this stuff soon.
Me too. Well, that is all for us this week. We'll see everybody next week.